Okay, welcome to the 90% no main menu storage tutorial for Lurien. Basically, right away, I'm just leaving that room so the seer shuts up, but, or at least gets quieter. There's gonna be like a split in the route basically immediately here, and the difference is gonna be whether you do the crypts route or not. Crypts route is pretty tough, and I don't recommend it for beginners. It saves about 4 seconds, and obviously, if you really want to, go ahead and learn it. I'm not going to stop you, but I don't recommend it for beginners. It's a very small time save, and it's tough, and it's risky. So, I'm going to go over the non-crypts route first, and then I will cover crypts, and then we'll continue from there. This video might be kind of long, because there's like a few deviations, but hopefully it's not too bad. So, if you're not doing crypts, then your soul here should be, if it's 2 casts worth of soul, that's great. If it's less than 2 casts worth of soul, that's also fine. You're just gonna have to get some extra hits on your way in a few rooms from now. But you can have a little bit less than 2 casts and be all right. So you're gonna enter this room and you're gonna go out of bounds. And you can hear a little step there actually, because you can see there's this ledge behind the load zone. It doesn't go all the way to the edge, so you actually will be on the ground for a bit. But you can get transition storage after you go out of bounds, so you'll already have inventory open here, or you can just walk off an inventory drop, and you'll hit this ledge. You cannot do like a transition storage and just smoothly go past it and hit the load zone, because you'll be falling too fast and you'll miss the load zone. You could try to dash into the load zone with transition storage, however, I recommend just land here. And then like cancel your hard fall with your inventory, drop your transition storage, and fall off and dash into here. And then for this room, you're going to want to get transition storage as you enter. You're going to dash over until you can see the dream nail platform, and you're going to jump and dash and not press that button, because that's the wrong button. My brain is malfunctioning. But you're going to jump and dash and just turn it into a dash storage for the rest of the room. So I think it's 5 dashes and then dash storage. And this room is also very simple. You're just going to dash across and then dash down into the load zone, like so. And then in this room, so if you already have 2 casts of soul, great, don't worry about it. If you don't quite have 2 casts of soul, like I said, also fine. You're just going to want to, like, as you come by, get some hits off of that big guy or off of this guy, depending on where they're positioned. Sometimes you can do that without losing any time. Sometimes you're gonna have to slow down a little bit, but even if you have to slow down a little bit, you want to make sure you get up to at least 2 casts worth of soul here. Hitting this guy is pretty obvious. You just kind of hit it as you go past. But for this guy, I find that if he's facing towards you and you need like a couple hits, you can do that, and then you can get 2 pogos as you go past. Or you can do this and do that if you only need 1 pogo, so that you don't take the knockback from hitting his shield slightly faster. Whatever, just depends on how many hits of soul you need. And then as long as you have 2 casts leaving this room, you're good to go. And in this room, you're just going to dash twice and hit this lever to activate the elevator. Okay. And that's it. That's where crypts meets up with this. So now I'm going to show crypts. So, if you're doing crypts, you're not going to go to bounds here. You're just going to enter the room normally. And then you're going to come down here, do an inventory drop just for a little bit, and then dash over into resting grounds. One slight difference is that sometimes when you hit this room, because you did seer skip, you'll be in like a waking up animation. And if you're in the waking up animation, then you're automatically going to fast fall when you get them off the ledge, so you don't need an inventory drop. But what you do need to keep in mind is that you should turn around as the first thing after you walk off that ledge. Because the waking up animation is tied to basically an FSM that removes a white screen. And if you leave this room before it finishes, then you will get a permanent white screen after Lurien. So just, if you're still waking up, then make sure the first thing you do after you come off this ledge is turnaround. And what that does is advances the FSM by 1 state, so then it'll complete by the time you leave this room. So, yeah, just come in here and dash into the stag room. And then you're going to immediately turn around and leave and go to bounce. Now, there is a bench here. You technically could take this bench for safety, but this is part of why I don't recommend this strat for beginners, because if you take this bench for safety, you're basically already not saving time by doing this route. Because this route already saves so little time that if you like take this safety bench, you're already using up basically all of the time you save on this route. And like same goes with any other safety strats for this route, is just that basically if you do any safety strats, you're no longer saving time. So I just recommend if you're not gonna, if you want to do safety strats, just don't take this route. So the reason this is tricky is because after you do this out of bounds, if you can get the out of bounds, that's not the tricky part. But after you get this out of bounds, you're gonna fall down here. You're not gonna land on this. You're gonna just be like out here somewhere. And there's this giant ledge here. You want to be far out enough that you're past this corner. If you land on this ledge, again, laying on this ledge, you're losing most, if not all, of your time save up. And you're no longer going to save time with this route. So your goal is going to be, again, don't land on this ledge, but you're going to fall past it. And then once you're past this corner here, once you're like at a minimum your feet are off this corner, you're going to get slow fall float. Like so. So just, it's the same as P-float, except you don't, if you do it mid-air, you'll automatically get slow fall. You can come this way, and then once you're past this little piece of geometry, then you're going to want to dash, and then you'll make it into the slowed zone and make it to crypts. And that's the hard part. It is just this one trick, but it's pretty tough. I can't go upwards to that load zone, which is why I had to let the save state come back. I'm going to move my save state closer. But basically, yeah, it's hard because it's a precise timing on the slow fall float. Because, for example, if you land here and then you get it, then you might think you land in the right spot, and you'll try to go this way, and you'll notice you're making footsteps, and you're like, oh crap, I'm in the wrong place. And you're waiting for this slow fall, and slow fall is slow. And so you can see how long I'm having to wait for this now. And I've already lost all the 4 seconds I would have saved by taking this route. So, yeah, the goal is to fall down and do a slow fall way lower than that after you've passed this this corner. I'm not used to doing it with the camera like this. Yeah, fall, and once you pass this corner, slow fall, and dash. And that's it. Now, the problem is just that timing is pretty precise, because if you're too low, then you'll just miss the load zone, and then you'll have to quit out. And because you didn't take this safety bench, because taking the safety bench is slow, your quit out will take you all the way back to Crossroads. So, very bad. What I use as a visual cue for it is basically as soon as you can see this like tomb thing, as soon as that like tomb appears on the screen, that's when I know that I should be about to slow fall. And so hopefully I can show this off for you. Okay, I didn't even mess it up in the timing way. I just didn't get slow fall, which also will kill your run. So don't do that either. Something like that. That was probably a bit high. Oh no, actually it wasn't. It was low. I'm out of practice. I haven't run this in a while, but like it is consistent once you get good at it. It's just that getting good at it takes a while, and I'm apparently bad. But yeah, I recommend it if you're like looking for the extra time save, because it is, like I said, it is consistent. You just need to get good at it. And honestly, I think what's happening here is I'm going too far out right, which is something I don't normally do. Oh my god. I just want to show off what it looks like. I'm doing a very poor job of doing so. Something like that. You can see that the slow fall happened like right when you could just see the very, very top of the tomb. So, again, as you can see, when I'm out of practice, it takes me a few attempts to get it. When I'm in practice, I get it, like, the vast majority of the time. It is consistent. Like, you will get good at it with time. It's just that it's a very small time save, so if you're just starting out, I don't recommend putting in the time to making sure you learn it all the way. But yeah. Once you've successfully gotten down here, you're just gonna hold right as you enter the room, and that'll, like, land you right on the very edge of this. And it'll crumble. And then you're gonna dash and come this way. So the movement is dash, jump, dash. Dash a couple times, and you'll land like here. You want to jump dash, because if you dash and then jump, you'll brush up against this a bit, lose time. So jump dash, same thing here, jump dash, and then dash a second time, jump dash, and then hit this 3 times. And then leave. And that's the room. And that's all Crypts is. It's just that one hard trick and then some neat movement in this room. It's honestly some pretty fun movement. But it's simple, but it's satisfying. And that's what that room looks like. And then you dash and hit the lever, and you've met up with the other route. Okay. Now, for this room, you can get a little wall cling storage off the elevator. Saves a tiny bit of time. And we're immediately going to go into another split in the route. So the split here is you can start the room dupe immediately. You're going to want a room dupe eventually. Well, probably. There is another strat if you don't want to do the room dupe. But there's a room dupe that comes later. You can start it here, but it's tough. So starting it here saves, I believe it was like 2 to 3 seconds, but it has an RNG load. And so if you get bad RNG once, and there's no recovery from the RNG load, you just have to try again until you get the right one. So if you get bad RNG once, you still save like 1 second. If you get bad RNG twice, then I think you lose like a little bit, like a fraction of a second. And if you get bad RNG more than that, then you begin to lose more and more time. So, you know, it's a very small time save, and there's RNG. I haven't actually done runs since this was found. I don't think I'm personally going to use it in runs. But it is there, and I'll go over it. But first I'm going to go over something else, the other methods. So, if you're not doing it, you're going to want to out of bounds here. And get transition storage. And just land down here. And you can see there's like this little ledge that I was standing on at first. And then there's also this bigger one down here. I recommend landing on the bigger one. And then, if you want to be really safe, you can get slow fall right now. And then just walk off. You can dash down once, and then walkling and wait. And then dash into this load. If you want to be really safe about it. It's kind of slow, but it's safe. And if you want to be less safe, you can just jump off and get slow fall when you're about there, and then dash into the load. So, you know, whichever. But yeah, basically the only tip I have for you is make sure you... I don't like trying to do it from here because it messes me up. So I always, if I land on top of this, for whatever reason, if I can get myself on there. If I land on top of this for whatever reason, I always just walk off and then do that. Yeah, that's that room. This room, you literally just dash and go to the left. Now, this is the reason you want to have 2 casts worth of soul, because you need 2 casts worth of soul when you get to the end of this room. And if you do the fastest strat for this room, and there is a super slide, but I'm not even going to bother saying it, because it's like, you lose so much time if you miss it, because you set yourself up really badly for the rest of the room if you don't get the super slide. And even if you get it, you only save like 2 point something seconds. So if you really want to go for the optimal strats, then just do the earlier room dupe I was talking about earlier. I'm not going to talk about the super slide, it's done. So ignoring the super slide, the fastest strat here doesn't collect any soul. So if you don't have enough soul here, you have to go through this room and like hit this guy for soul, or you can go down here and hit these guys for soul, whichever. And then you're just gonna, I can show. So if you don't have a soul, make sure you get whatever soul you need from those guys or from the guy up top. And then just dash across. And come up here. If you do have enough soul, which you should, as long as you followed the soul collection properly, then you can do this, which is sweet. You get transition storage, and do a sick dash storage, where you dash until you can see this guy. If you get good RNG, he'll be on the right side. Bad RNG, he'll be on the left side. It's a very small time difference, but it is there, unfortunately. Anyway, once you see him, you can jump over him and start a dash storage, and it'll just nicely take you to the end of the room. Except you will have to stop it around here, because you don't want to go down here. And so once you've stopped around here, just jump up and dash up here. And then get P-float. And enter this room. And in this room, you want to do an out-of-bounds jump. I do recommend going for the out-of-bounds jump, because this load zone is tall, which makes it pretty easy. So it is easy. It's one of the easier out-of-bounds jumps in the games. Or in the game. I don't know if I said that plural. But the idea is you get this out-of-bounds jump, and just come all the way up here. However, like always, for these types of things, if you don't get the out-of-bounds jump, you can do a dash down and cancel, and then wall jump. The one thing I'll just warn you is, like, be careful, because the ground underneath the load here, there's not too much of it, so it's kind of easy to accidentally cancel your dash down here, and then you'll be stuck. So just be kind of cautious of that. And then once you've done your out-of-bounds jump, or this wall jump, on your way up, stick close to the wall. There's no geometry that will stop you, so you can just hold against the wall the whole time. This thing comes kind of close, but it doesn't actually stick out enough to stop you. And it just basically, it'll guarantee you hit a trigger that lights up this area of the room, which will make this next step easier. So, once you're up top, you can cancel P-float, and that's what you needed the 2 cast of soul force to get, and then cancel it, and then hit this load zone. And put a save state here. I guess I'll start with the babiest strats. So, actually, I'll show the room dupe first. So the main strat here is you're gonna do a room dupe. So just jump down here, immediately jump back up, and ideally you have room duped. A couple tips for this, because I see people struggling with this and they're not doing some things they can do to help. So obviously the timing of the jump is the most important thing. But even if you get the timing of the jump properly, you can actually, if you get the timing of the jump like perfectly, and your load is long enough, and your load is like short enough rather, what can actually happen is you carry momentum out of this load zone when you hit it. So then you hit it and you gain control like here or whatever, but because you're still holding A from your jump, you just keep going up and then you start falling back down, but then the next room loads before you hit the load zone a second time, so you don't do. So, tip number 1. After you've hit the load zone, let go of A. Stop holding A, and then you'll fall faster into the load zone the second time. So that's my first tip. Tip 2 is sometimes you'll be on the other end of things, you'll just barely get the timing, and you'll gain control right as you hit the load zone. And so when that happens, you won't even come out of the other side of the load zone. You'll hit this one, and then you'll fall back down here. And then people will be like, oh, I got it, that timing worked. And then they'll just be standing here, and then the room loads, and then they didn't do. So, my second tip is that a little bit after you've hit this load zone, press A again, in case you're down here. And then you'll jump a second time, and you'll hit the load zone the second time. Sometimes you'll even be able to see, like, your feet will, like, enter the room again before it fades to black. So sometimes you'll even be able to see that you're going to be down here, but sometimes you'll be down here and you wouldn't be able to tell. So just, when you jump to the load zone, jump, once you hit it, stop holding A, and then a little bit later, jump again, just in case. Those are my 2 tips to make this room dupe as consistent as possible. So, you're room duped. Now, ideally you're going to get this first try, but if you don't, that's also okay. You're just going to have to deal with a wonky camera. So, you're going to drop down here, and you're going to out of bounds to the left, and wall jump immediately. And just climb up here. So, as you can see, just like out of bounds just kind of took me into this wall, and then I'm just wall jumping to make sure I get away from the load zone, I get up to where I want to be. So that's ideally, and then you're gonna dash over this chest. Collect Geo. It's gonna depend on what route you take. You're gonna need either 250 Geo or oh crap, I don't remember how much the storeroom stag is. Just get like, I don't know, 500. You shouldn't need more than 500. I think storeroom stag is 150, so I think 400 would be alright. But just get a good amount. If you're planning on doing the big room dupe after Shade Soul, you only need 250. But just if you don't know what that is, I highly recommend just get enough Geo that you can buy both stag stations, in case. And then once you've collected the Geo you need, if you really want, you can get all of it, but you don't need all of it. Just come this way, come up here, and jump into that load. However, I'll show you one other thing, which is that if you don't get it the first time, so say I do this, and I drop back down after I room duped, but, whoops, I missed the out of bounds. I'll be down here. Just jump back up, and it'll put you, it'll immediately send you back down, is the first thing to note. So, like, that's not in your control, you're just gonna immediately be sent back down. And then you get to try the out of bounds again. But if you get it this time, you'll see the camera stops following me when I move over to the left. When I hit this yellow trigger here. So just be prepared for that. And if you do need vision, you can look up, but it'll go away as soon as you stop looking up. And so it's about 8 dashes once you're up here. And that'll put you in hitting range of the chest. And then just kind of hit it, jump around, collect the Geo you need. If you need to, again, you can look up for vision. And then after you collect all the Geo, it should be about 4 dashes. And you'll be around here. You're going to jump, dash, wall jump a couple times, and you'll be up here. And then jump once more. And you'll be in this room. Now, last thing I do want to say, this is very important actually, is that, I guess I'll have to do this again, but, oh, see, I messed up the out of bounds for real that time. But, which is actually kind of unfortunate because I wanted to show you something, but that's alright, it's not too big of a deal. So, after you've collected the Geo, I should get all of it because I'm going to have to show both methods. Okay. Again, if I messed that up as well, so don't feel bad if you do. But jump into this load zone facing left. If you face right, you're soft locked and you're not going to have a good time. You actually can get out of it, but it's not pleasant. So, face left. I'm not going to show you how to get out of it if you face right, just because it's not hard to face left. Just make sure you're facing left. Getting out of it is just, it's pretty tough, and it shouldn't be necessary. Now you're gonna have to do Televator here. It's kind of tricky because there's this wall in your way, but it's not too bad. Just kind of, basically my tips are up slash for the last elevator hit, and just kind of like, I don't know, that's basically it really. Some people have a lot of trouble with this until they practice it a lot. I don't find it too much worse than a normal Televator. Except I'm apparently failing it now. But yeah, it's just Televator. I'm actually gonna turn off hitboxes. Oh my god. I can't. Oh wait. Oh, you know what? That's why. Because you're not supposed to up slash. You can up slash, but don't. Sorry, I gave you the opposite of the advice. Is that a lot of times people try to up slash because you can do that when it's a normal Televator. But don't, because it's gonna make it a lot harder on you. So make sure you side slash the last one. Yeah, sorry, I gave you the opposite advice. I remembered it was something to do with up slash, but yeah, you'll be Televator. You'll Televate and you'll be up here, and then you're gonna come over here and dream that Lurien, which is just 3 dashes. You won't be able to see, but it's just 3 dashes. But yeah, that's it. That's all there is to it. You're just gonna have to practice Televator probably if you're not used to doing it in a room dupe. And then you'll dream that Lurien, and you'll be out of a room dupe and you'll be in Lurien. Now, I'll go back and show the non-room dupe strat. So, if you don't want to do that room dupe, and come over here, you're going to need to collect a good amount of soul through here. You're going to need to collect 6 hits so you can do 2 casts. And I'm actually really, really bad at this. It is theoretically easier than the room dupe, but I'm really bad at it. It's just an out-of-bounds jump. But for some reason I find this one really hard. Probably just because I don't do it often, so I'm not practicing it. But the goal is just do another out-of-bounds jump. Jump up here. And then once you're all the way at the top, cancel float and dash across to the load zone. And again, as you can see, if you want to try and do a dash down back up, it's like, it's very tight here. It is possible, but it's kind of scary. If you like, yeah, see that didn't even work, but yeah, that's kind of why I'm warning you. I don't know exactly how low you can be, but it's really, really tight to get the wall jump back up without hitting the load. So yeah, you can, like, if you really, really need to, you can just dash down all the way to the bottom of the level and then jump back up. But it's not too hard, like, if you know a setup for it. I just don't know the setup for this load zone for the out-of-bounds jump. But it's just a normal out-of-bounds jump. And then you're just gonna come up here, get rid of float. And then once you're in this room, you're actually gonna have to go back down to collect the Watcher Knight's chest. Which is part of why this loses so much time, as well as just being slower to get up here in the first place. Collect the Watcher Knight's chest. Come up. And then Televator. And get to Lurien. Okay. Now, the last thing is the new development, is the early start to the room dupe, where you start all the way from here. So, you're gonna first of all need to do a false night skip type thing. Not as tight as the false night skip, because you have a lot of ground, and not as risky as the false night skip, because you have a lot of ground below you to wall jump off of instead of just the tiny little sliver. But just like that, you're gonna have to do a false night skip type thing to get up here. You can go inbounds, but if you're doing this strat, I'm gonna assume you're, like, pretty advanced at running at this point, and going inbounds loses time, and so don't do that. Okay, now you're up here. Then you're gonna do a room dupe. This one is, I think it's a little bit tighter than the one at the top of Spire. The same, like, room dupe principles apply. Except, yeah, actually, okay, hold on. Let me, I think actually I'm gonna give you different room dupe principles to Spire, because I think this one is farther away, which is gonna change things. So the first principle of, like, if you end up with that, where you can see I did it on purpose there, you can see me fall back into the room, make sure you do the second jump. So that principle is the same. However, the second one is going to be different. So instead of releasing A when you hit the load zone, you're not going to be at risk of jumping too high on this one. So you can see I was jumping out to the left. Basically, for this one, okay, hold on. Let me go into this room to explain it. So For this one, it's possible to jump, like, just barely not high enough that you leave the load zone, but you're, like, very close to, like, this height. And so you jump up this high, and then you fall back down, and you wouldn't have time to jump a second time to hit the load zone. And so the strat to avoid that is you come out to the left. So then all you have to do is make it, like, this high instead of to the height above the load zone. You can see it's, you know, about the height of the knight. A little less lower. So it's, like, significantly lower to jump up this high. And once you've landed out here, walk right into the load zone for the second load zone hit. So that's my room dupe tip for this one. Anyway, once you're room duped, you're gonna drop down. You won't be able to see, but that's fine. You'll just be seeing this. You're just here, and you're just gonna jump back up. It doesn't matter which way you face. You'll automatically face right, I think, anyway. And then this load zone is RNG. So you're gonna go back down. And I got the correct RNG. If you get the wrong RNG, you're just gonna be back where you were a second ago. So you're just gonna jump back up again, and jump back down, and jump back up until you get the right one. If you get the right RNG, you're gonna be up here. The game is very kind to you, and it puts you out of bounds, like, automatically. You don't have to worry about anything. So, you'll be here. You'll be seeing this. And you're just gonna... Let me zoom out a bit more. Jump up. Dash, like, 4 times. And then I dash down. And then inventory drop once I hit this wall. And you'll hit this load zone. And then, this one's pretty important. You're gonna do an out of bounds, but, like, not actually. You're just gonna hold in towards the level. And what that will do is that'll, like, actually put you in bounds. Whereas if you don't do anything, you'll just get put back through that load zone automatically. And if that happens, you might end up back where you were, and in which case, great, you get another try. But you might end up in the like, giant broken elevator shaft that kind of leads to Isma's Tier. If you end up there, then your run is over. So try not to fail this out of bounds, because there's RNG run ending potential. In this room, you will be able to see. So that's nice. You come in like this. You just jump up this way. And then, so this is like... with the exception of this guy being here, this is just, basically what happens when you're on the left side of city in the non-dupe route. So you're gonna get P-float and come this way, and you're gonna get this out-of-bounds jump, and you get 1 try at it. So again, it gets a bit tougher than normal, because you get a single try at this. Yeah. Actually, do you get another try? Oh, maybe you're okay. No, wait, no, because I'm gonna be inside the giant city room. Yeah, so you get 1 try at this, so don't mess it up if you're gonna do this route. Again, there is technically a backup, but it's so slow that you may as well have lost your run at that point. And I'm gonna assume that if you're doing this, you're at a pretty good level of running at this point. So yeah, the backup won't be an option. You'll just reset at that point. I don't remember where my save state is. I think I put one before this. Whoops. I think I did. I just need to load it and duped. So yeah. I have P-float, but you wouldn't. Let me get to the correct correct amount of soul. So again, you out of bounds to land in the room. It's not precise. You can be, like, really late on it and still be fine, but again, you don't want to mess it up. Then, you come through this room, P-float, and you don't mess up the out of bounds jump. Okay, and the out of bounds jump is just the same as if you're doing the normal way, as if you're not in the dupe. You just want to do the out of bounds jump. You should hug this wall. Cancel float, and come down here. And then you're immediately gonna get put back through, and then you're just gonna do this, and it's just like the normal dupe. You're just at the top of Watch Nights again. However, I think this guarantees that you get this. Yeah. So because you're kind of entering the room dupe from a weird point, you're guaranteed to get this wonky camera. So again, I assume you're at a high level if you're doing this, so this shouldn't be too much of an issue for you. But it's about 8 dashes to the chest, collect the Geo. It's about 4 dashes. If you're on the right side of the chest, it's about 4 dashes to over here. And then jump dash. Wall jump up. Make sure you're facing left. And come up here. And then this part is the same as if you did it normally. You just got a Televator. And come over to Lurien. And then I didn't do it here because I was not thinking. But you know, if I just drop out of here for a second. When you dream nail Lurien, you want to quick map. And then you'll be able to move a bit while you're still invisible. And you'll gain visibility when you're about here. But the movement is just 2 dashes, dash. And then you kill Lurien. And that's it. And, oh, that wasn't even too unreasonably long. That wasn't that much longer than some of the other splits have been. So, there you go. Lurien. Yeah, so you got a bunch of options there. The beginner route that I recommend is don't do crypts, but do the main room dupe route. Don't do the extended room dupe. Definitely don't do the extended room dupe if you're a beginner, but do the main room dupe. And then the route that I take is I do crypts, and then if I come back to runs, I'm probably not even going to do the extended room dupe just because of the RNG. So I would do crypts and then the normal room dupe. But the absolute optimal path is crypts and then the extended room dupe. And there you go. That's Lurien. Like, I did show you the backup if you don't want to do any room dupe at all, but I don't recommend it, honestly, even if you're just a beginner. Just learn the room dupe. Practice Televator. It's not that bad. It's a really short, pretty simple room dupe. And yeah, I will see you in the next video, which is either going to be only Shade Soul, which would be really, really short, or Shade Soul plus Umu. I guess I'll have to do Shade Soul plus Monomon in one, because Shade Soul will be way too short. Probably. We'll see. But yeah, that's the end of the Lurien tutorial.